Biggest fight in the career of 36-year-old Davaryl Williamson, who turned pro just 4 years ago. Not an easy road. His mother battled drug addiction. He lived in 6 foster homes as a child while his father was in jail. 6 elementary schools, but he did not use that as a crutch. A 96 U.S. Olympic alternate, a 3-time U.S. amateur champion, and in '98 received a master's degree in administrative services from Northern Michigan University. So no questioning the man's resolve. 2-0 since a dreadful first-round knockout loss to Joe Macy off a majority decision over tough Cuban southpaw Eliezer Castillo. But major concern has to be his chin. How could it not be, Al, in light of the debacle with Macy?
Well, he admitted that for that fight, he probably was overcome by the moment. It was his biggest moment in boxing. This is his second chance, he said, to make a first impression. He hopes to overcome that tonight.
A one-time stand-up comic who opened for Chris Tucker, former high school and college quarterback, also a mascot and cheerleader, who once tried out for the Indianapolis Colts. You get the feeling this is a guy who makes every minute count. As you pointed out, very appreciative of this second opportunity. There he is, Davaryl Touch of Sleep Williamson. There was a time when Wladimir Klitchko was considered the best of the Klitschko brothers, but ever since the Corey Sanders fight, a lot of question marks. His chin, his heart, his conditioning. Does he have what it takes? His first trip to the ring since the forgettable loss to Lehman Brewster. Klitschko, a heavy favorite, and as you can hear, the fan favorite. But given the recent rash of upsets, Al, is there cause for concern?
I think there is, for one simple reason. He's facing a man in Davaryl Williamson who has considerable power. And let's be honest about Wladimir Klitchko. He is 2 years removed from a really, really good performance. So he has to prove to the boxing world and the fans that he is capable of fighting like he did a couple of years ago when, as you pointed out, he looked like the heir apparent to the throne in the heavyweight division.
As he makes his way through the ropes, Wladimir Klitchko admitting he's at the bottom of the division. Still, his trainer, Hall of Famer Emanuel Stewart, insists Wladimir can be as good as the best heavyweight he ever trained, Lennox Lewis.
And he showed evidence of that a couple of years ago. This is a superb athlete who, if he can harness that and fight well over the course of entire fights, he can do it.
And you got a glimpse in the background of his older brother Vitaly in there to lend support. Let's size him up right now as we check out the tale of the tape. And we wonder, will age be a factor? At 36, Williamson 8 years older than Klitschko. 3.5-inch height advantage for the nearly 6'7" Klitschko, and a 3-inch edge in reach as well for Wladimir. At yesterday's weigh-in, Klitschko 1 pound shy of his career heaviest, has 26 pounds on Williamson. And the key unified rules for this non-title fight: no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental headbutt occurs before the end of the 4th round, the fight is ruled a no decision. If it happens after the end of round 4, they go to the scorecards. So here at Caesars Palace, Las Vegas, getting ready for our main event, Wladimir Klitchko versus Davaryl Williamson. Let's get the official introductions from our ring announcer, the classy Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the new Roman Plaza Amphitheater here at the home of champions, Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada, as we present the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Gary Shaw Productions in association with K2 Promotions, Warriors Boxing Promotions, Caesars Palace, and Showtime. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The chairman is John Bailey. Kelly, Commissioners Dr. Tony Alamo, Skip Avancino, Joe W. Brown, and Dr. Flip Homensky with the Executive Director, Mark Ratner. Our physicians at ringside, Dr. Margaret Goodman, Dr. William Berliner, Dr. Al Cabana, and Dr. Jeff Davidson. Timekeepers at the bell, also keeping count of the knockdowns. We have Jane Broadfoot and James Cavan. Introducing to you our 3 judges scoring this bout from ringside. From Las Vegas, Nevada, Chuck Jumpa. Also from Las Vegas, we have Jerry Roth, and from Carson City, Nevada, Doug Tucker. And our 3rd man in the ring, the referee in charge of this bout, we have Jay Nady. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. 10 rounds of boxing and a heavyweight special attraction. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada, it's showtime! Introducing to you first on my left, he is fighting out of the blue corner, wearing navy blue trunks with silver trim, fighting out of Denver, Colorado, by way of our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. He weighed in at 218 pounds. His record stands at 20 wins, 2 losses, with 17 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the former NABF heavyweight champion, currently ranked number 10 in the world by the WBC. Introducing Davaryl Touch of Sleep Williamson. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the red corner, this 10-round heavyweight special attraction, wearing red trunks with gold trim, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Kiev, Ukraine. He weighed in at 244 pounds. His record stands at 42 wins, 3 losses, with 39 big wins coming by way of knockout. Currently ranked number 6 in the world by the WBO. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former WBO heavyweight champion of the world, introducing Wladimir Klitchko. Once again, our referee in charge, Jay Nady, now to give instructions. 12 rounds of boxing schedule.
1 second, let's go.
Fighter, come center. You have any questions? Obey my commands. Both your trunks look just fine. Touch gloves now, good luck, let's go to work.
A fight that features 2 powerful sluggers with vulnerable chins, which usually makes for interesting fights. Klitchko has a doctorate in sports science. Williamson, as mentioned, a master, so both should be smart enough to know that this is all about. Both highly motivated, even desperate.
And let me tell you, Wladimir Klitchko kept staring at Davaryl Williamson from the moment he got in the ring, doing his best Sonny Liston impression, and Williamson never looked at him even during the instructions. I think he feels he can intimidate Williamson early. We'll see.
We should point out, we picked up that Klitchko had a nosebleed in the dressing room. They were working on it all the way up to the ring walk. We'll see if that impacts here. Klitchko, once the future of the division, looks to dig out from the rubble of 2 losses in his last 4 fights, most notably the embarrassing defeat to Layman Brewster. Williamson realizes if he is to be taken seriously, it has to begin here.
Now, Davaryl Williamson isn't by nature a boxer, but he's a boxer puncher, but he will move in these first couple of rounds. He hopes it will go 4 in 2 rounds to try and get through these early rounds where he thinks, and everyone, of course, these days thinks Klitchko will not do well in the middle rounds. And make no mistake, Williamson has some power. He can punch.
Klitchko normally prefers to fight at a slow, relaxed, deliberate pace. Will Williamson set a fast pace and look to test Klitschko's athletic skills? Will Klitchko pick up his pace and intensify his attack? Emmanuel Stewart told us they expect Williamson to bring a lot of movement, so they have changed Klitschko's style to be more aggressive.
And that's what Williamson is doing here in round 1. He is boxing, he is moving. He doesn't want to get hit by Klitchko early on.
Williamson says he'll outthink Dr. Klitschko. Said he's not going to go right after him.
Good left hook by Williamson. He's counter-punching fairly well early in this bout, and he's capable of it, though it's not his major stock in trade. You know, Williamson was one of the most decorated amateur boxers ever for the United States, a three-time champion, but never made it to the Olympics. Would have fought Wladimir in the 1996 Olympics had he won in the trials, but lost.
Wladimir Klitschko winning the gold medal in those Olympics at super heavyweight. Williamson looking to be tactical, looking to trick Klitschko best he can. A fight in which Williamson is faced with an interesting dilemma. Which Klitschko will he see? He prepared for a couple of different Vladimirs, saying he's ready for the best Wladimir Klitschko that he's seen in the past.
In the old days, before they had the 24-second clock in the pros and also the shot clock in basketball and college basketball, you could buy time early in the match with the four-corner offense, etc. Think of this as Williamson's four-corner offense. He just wants to get this fight in the 4th or 5th round. He's becoming Dean Smith early in this fight.
I was just going to say, Dean Smith. Little trickle of blood from the left eye of Wladimir Klitschko. I'm not sure if that's as a result of heads coming together, I didn't see it, or a punch.
Fighting a good fight. Don't worry, it's a little small scratch. The most important thing, keep the pressure on him and keep fending him a lot. Rounds at this pace. Only Muhammad Ali can go this pace, so he's going to slow down and then start shooting with the right hands to the body sometimes. Okay. And other than that, you fight a good fight. The only danger when you got a guy that's running. Then when he stops and punches, sometimes you're not expecting a punch, and that's where you can get caught. But keep putting the pressure on. Do a lot of fading. Let him keep running. He cannot run much more than one more round. Okay. So you fight a good patient fight, and sometimes shoot the right hand to the body, just a little right hand to the body. Eventually, after all exchanges, shoot the jab after you finish up, okay? It's a good fight.
You got to love Emanuel Stewart. He's not Muhammad Ali. He can't keep up this pace, referring to Davaryl Williamson. Let's see if he does listen to Emanuel Stewart and shoot that short, compact right like he said he'd like him to.
Now there's the hook from Klitschko.
Let him go.
He's thought of as a right-handed puncher, but I think if there's a punch that will land most effectively against Williamson, and Joe Macy showed that, it's the left hook. And Klitschko has a pretty good one, even though the right hand is his most notable knockout weapon. They've been working on cutting off the ring, Emanuel Stewart and Klitschko, knowing that Williamson might give them this movement. And there you see Klitschko doing just that.
There's the jab by Williamson, who continues to move around and up on his toes. Does a little dance.
So you might say that, you know, boy, Williamson's going to give away a lot of rounds here if he keeps doing this. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if he gives away 4 rounds. He's hoping that he can get Klitschko into middle rounds, and it'll be a replay of the Brewster fight and also the Ross Purity fight from years ago when Klitschko was ahead and got knocked out later.
Williamson, a 6'3", 36-year-old, 4-year pro. He's done a pretty good job. Oh, here comes Klitschko. Done a pretty good job of dispelling the myth. He's too old and too small for the division. Williamson just bodily takes Klitschko to the ropes.
Well, you know,
Let him go, I say let him go.
he's going to have to hold on and grab and maul, and that's what he did when he got hit with that right hand.
That's what Emanuel Stewart wanted to see. Let's see if Klitschko unleashes the right again. Looks like he's trying to set it up with the jab. And a very effective jab right there. It got through the defense.
His jab, when he throws it well, is like George Foreman's. It's a weapon as a heavyweight, and his is that.
Not just a probing jab. It's a weapon indeed. There it is again. It snaps Williamson's head back. Under 30 seconds left in round 2. Very effective jab here being displayed by Klitschko.
You know, Williamson, if he used his jab a little bit, would nullify that. And there, see, there's the Williamson jab. You know, he's not committing himself that much by throwing the jab. He doesn't want to commit himself, Williamson, by throwing power punches, but the jab he could get away with.
Now Klitschko attempts the right, but it came up short. That one into the gloves of Williamson.
Stop! Stop!
And they tangle again at the bell.
Nice round.
Listen to me. You ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. You hear me? Your back standing straight up, man. You want to compete at this level, man. You got to do the right thing. You hear me? See? Yeah. Snap out of it. You hear me? Get low, man. This guy's breathing out of his mouth already. Get low and coil up and do what you're supposed to do. You hear me? Yep. No more stupid mistakes. You're standing straight up and he's coming at you. Smooth side to side. You understand? Yep. Let's get it together.
Wladimir Klitschko in that last round using the jab to set up the straight right hand, and that one gets there, and Williamson has to fight back to make sure he doesn't get nailed with another punch. From Williamson's viewpoint, the jab and the straight right, very, very effective. George Durbin, interestingly, in the corner of Williamson, they didn't want him standing straight up. They wanted him moving, but getting low, where Klitschko wouldn't hit him with the jab and the straight right hand so much.
It is round 3, scheduled for Ted. Non-title heavyweight affair.
See, different posture by Williamson. They don't want him standing so upright. Klitschko doesn't have an uppercut to speak of.
But he keeps pumping that jab. Klitschko, Williamson saw an opening, but couldn't connect with the right. Klitschko's mouth wide open, if that means anything. Nobody throwing anything now. Finally, a big right hand that landed by Wladimir Klitschko.
And if Williamson doesn't exactly look like Larry Holmes and Muhammad Ali and Jimmy Ellis, and you can name the good boxers, it's because he isn't. This is not something he does, but he's doing it for this fight. And that's why his movement looks labored, but it's keeping him in the fight in this third round. Now, is Klitschko going to fade as we get into middle rounds? I don't know, especially if there's no pressure put on him, but it's the one chance Williamson thinks he can give himself. And that's why you're looking at a guy that doesn't look like he's very good at this style. He's being just barely good enough to hang in there.
Klitschko with a right hand right off the top of Williamson's head. Davaryl looking very mechanical. He's back to being upright.
Stop.
And Klitschko just patiently waiting for the opening.
Fans impatient, they want to see more action. They want this to be a heavyweight shootout, so with Klitschko in a way, although he doesn't want to take punches.
And make no mistake, Williamson does have some pop.
Yeah, that's why Wladimir Klitschko isn't rushing in, because Williamson can punch. 56 of the 62 fights these fighters have been involved in have ended in knockout. So while we're seeing a very slow pace over 3 rounds, don't expect this to go the full distance. I doubt that it will.
Williamson 20-2 with 17 knockouts. Klitschko 42-3 with 39 KOs. But Williamson's chin very much in question.
Now, he has taken a couple of good right hands, and there was a hook from Klitschko.
Stop!
But Klitschko's not been able to follow up on those punches.
Time! Thank you.
A man who has provided all kinds of excitement at this venue, Thomas Hearns, who established himself as one of the greats in boxing history in the 80s, headlined many big fights here at Caesars. Bouts with Hagler, Leonard, Duran became classics.
Part of a generation of middleweights, junior middleweights, and welterweights that we may not see again for a long, long time.
Earlier tonight, the Hitman's son Ronald victorious to make it 4-0.
Find a very intelligent fight. Good fight. The most important punch is the left jab. And then you start adding more and more and more to it. More right hands to the body. Okay, guys,
let's go.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
He's going to fight.
Well, you heard Emmanuel Stewart. He's happy.
And he's correct. The jab is the most important punch for him because once if he keeps throwing it, which Williamson is allowing him to do, it will set up the right hands and those rights to the body, and ultimately also maybe a left hook that will land. You know, it's a misnomer for people to think Klitschko hasn't fought good heavyweights. He dominated Chris Bird, who of course has one of the championships, and beat him. He beat Jameel McCline, he beat Derek Jefferson, he beat Botha when he could still fight a little bit, he beat Monty Barrett. He's beaten the people he's supposed to beat.
Oh, wow! But he's down! Wow. A straight right hand. Klitschko down.
6, 7. You okay? 8.
He got up fast. It's a flash knockdown. He's just stunned out of nowhere. And now a confident Williamson goes back to it.
But Davaryl Williamson better be careful. If he rushes in, he can get nailed with something big.
Yeah, he can't be too cocky here.
Don't be throwing those wild left hooks, Davaryl.
Now, all of a sudden, a fight breaks out.
Yeah. Well, maybe he only needed to get to round 3, not round 5, as I suggested.
Oh, it's wild now as they continue to brawl with a minute 40 and counting in round 4. Stunningly, Wladimir Klitchko went down. And a lot of time left in this round, although he didn't seem really hurt, just stunned.
You can't grab him like that. All right?
But certainly a less confident Wladimir Klitschko and a more confident Williamson, who's coming in and getting some shots off.
Cutter on the left eye of Klitschko, some blood. Mentioned it a little bit earlier. Klitschko down for the 3rd time in his career here in round 4. And then a right hand by Klitschko. And now Williamson just trying to hold on.
Dangerous time for Williamson.
Here comes Klitschko on the attack.
Stop!
That knockdown may have emboldened Davaryl Williamson way too much.
He still has to be very careful. 40 seconds left in the 4th.
You can't turn around.
No spinning. Klitschko trying for the knockout here.
Stop!
Blood around his left eye.
Stop holding it.
And so all of a sudden, things have become a little dramatic here.
At the very least, Davaryl Williamson is in this fight. Now, it's interesting, he had that knockdown and won the first part of the round, but has been beaten in the second part of the round to a great extent.
And he nailed Klitschko with another right hand. Back comes Klitschko with a right and a left counter by Williamson at the bell.
Take it easy. Work the breathing. We got knocked down with one of those punches where you threw the right hand and you was out balance. So don't worry, take it easy. Don't get excited. You're getting too excited. You understand? Just get back to your basic boxing. You didn't get hit with a normal right hand. You was throwing a punch. You got caught off balance. So just take it easy and don't panic. Just work your jab now, okay? Get back to working your jab and take your time, okay? Fight a very patient and take it.
Here's how Davaryl Williamson was able to create a knockdown. Klitschko made himself lower than he normally does, not fighting as straight up. You see, he leaned in. And that is a way, by the way, that he got nailed by Layman Brewster in their fight. He will oftentimes make himself smaller instead of fighting tall. It's one of the great attributes of Lennox Lewis. He never fought small, and that's what Stewart really wants Klitschko to do, but that time he didn't.
Jacob stitched Duran going to work in the Klitschko corner on that left eye. Yeah, Klitschko keeping his left hand extremely low most of the time, and as you point out, that's what cost him. in the fight with Brewster.
You're going to laugh at me for saying this. Williamson has put a seed of doubt in Klitschko's mind. I say for the next 2 rounds, if I'm Davaryl Williamson, I fight those exactly as I fought the first 2.5 and see if I can get him into the 6th or 7th and then go after him. No reason for Davaryl Williamson to go after Klitschko right now, other than to entertain us, which would be fun, and this crowd. He waited for Klitschko to make a mistake. He made one and he got him down. Maybe a mistake like that in a couple of rounds could create a better knockdown for Williamson. We don't know.
As you saw, as the crowd begins to boo now, as not much happens, you saw the press row scoring. 2 guys had Klitschko ahead, 1 even.
I have Klitschko 39-37 ahead in this fight. I made the round a 10-9 round because Klitschko came back and dominated so much.
And some may have put that at 10-8 for Williamson with the knockdown.
As well they could have.
Things have slowed considerably here in round 5 after an all-action round 4.
And what is Klitschko not doing? That. He's not throwing the jab. And Stewart really wants that punch. And it's the punch that would control this fight completely for him.
But you know what, Al? It's early, but I'm just not seeing a guy, as Klitschko gets caught there, I'm just not seeing a guy who should represent the future of the heavyweight division, at least not yet.
It is not as complete a performance as they would like, certainly, and that's been his problem in recent fights.
Just sort of fights in bursts and stretches.
He's not the same person he was a couple of years ago when he looked for all the world like he was putting everything together.
Ever since that Sanders fight, it's not been the same.
Again, you know, the jab being used more by Klitschko, and he mixes in the hook. He can control this fight with that jab.
But then all of a sudden he stops doing it.
Yeah, and sometimes he'll try an odd thing like an overhand right as a lead, and that's when he got clipped with the right hand by Williamson.
Still has that left hand really low, does Klitschko. Now he brings it up.
Klitschko's also trying to lean in a little bit more, again, making himself a lower target. That's what happens later in fights.
Oh, the blood now coming down the face of Klitschko. And Margaret Goodman stepping in, the doctor.
They may have clashed heads toward the end of that round.
I think they did. That's what happened.
That's a big one. Yeah, you can't handle that.
Oh, you can handle it. Come on.
No.
No, that's...
Yeah, let's go. That's a big one. Here we go. Let me get that.
Where's the towel? Give me the towel.
Here we go.
Towel.
Give me
Towel.
Dog,
Give me
get
a
this.
dry towel. A dry towel. Dry towel.
I'm ready. There we go.
It's a dry
There
towel.
we go. We got it.
Give me a dry towel.
There we go. Clean him up.
Some awkward action in the last round there. And
I'm gonna stop
the
the
clash
fight.
of heads
I
that
have to
created
stop the
this
fight.
cut.
We're going to the scorecards.
Okay, just stay right there.
And you heard Jane 80 say we're going to the scorecards based upon that clash of heads.
It's over, Al. It's over. Yeah, after the end of 4, they go to the scorecards. You hear the crowd reaction. The doctor makes the determination. It is a nasty cut, very deep, and the blood is going into the eye.
There's a headbutt right there. I saw it clearly.
I guess the blood had the potential of entering the eye. You see it just going down the bridge of the nose there.
Also, they didn't think they could stop it.
Yep. So Dr. Margaret Goodman there makes the recommendation. Jane 80 abides. And this fight is over here after, what was that, 5 rounds? So they have to go to the scorecards after 4. So 5 rounds were complete. And they will go to the cards, and this one is history. It ends unceremoniously, unfortunately, with a cut on a clash.
No question that was a clash of heads, absolutely none. And the sad thing for Vladimir Klitschko is that he didn't have the chance to really answer all the questions people had about him. A fight in which he's knocked down once, may well get the decision. We would expect he might, but nevertheless, a fight in which he didn't get a chance to put his stamp on this. Against a man who had been knocked out in 1 round by Joe Macy, who later was really manhandled by Giroff, even in a fight Macy won.
So a very incomplete night.
Yeah, very much in this fight, and not one that the Klitschkos are going to be happy with no matter what.
No, it was sort of an awkward, inconsistent approach by Wladimir Klitchko. Jim Gray is with the ringside physician, Dr. Margaret Goodman. Jim?
All right. Steve, thank you. Dr. Margaret Goodman is here. She's reluctant to talk on camera, but she did just tell me that she stopped the fight because it was down to the bone on the forehead of Klitschko, and she recommended to Jay Nady that the fight be stopped. So she stopped the fight. Is that basically what you were just telling me, Dr. Goodman?
Yes. And the cut went below the level of the brow, down to where one of the nerves goes to control part of the pupil. So we wanted to stop.
Thank you for your time. We appreciate it. That's the story, Steve. We'll now wait for the decision from Jimmy Lennon.
Kind of a reminiscent of the first Corrales-Casamayor fight,
thinking.
and her explanation, Dr. Goodman's explanation, very good and succinct as it was then. This is where the clash of heads came, right at the end of the round, toward the end of the round. Very obvious. Neither man really made it happen. Klitschko came in, Williamson came with the right hand. It was not intentional, but nevertheless, it occurred. And the heads blasted together, and it created just a terrible, terrible cut. It's one of those bad breaks in boxing, and it's this case especially bad break because it left us with an inconclusive feeling about this fight and about Wladimir Klitschko in general. And certainly Davaryl Williamson would say it took away, could have taken away, we don't know yet, could have taken away Davaryl Williamson's chance for a victory. We'll see, though. We don't know yet because we haven't gotten to the scorecards.
Well, that blood just started gushing down after that last clash.
And remember, you know, that could have easily been a 2-point round, the knockdown round for Davaryl Williamson. Easily could have been.
All right, so we'll see how it all comes out as we send it up to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout has been stopped at the end of round number 5. Wladimir Klitschko is a recipient of an unintentional headbutt. A referee in charge, Jay Nady, stops the contest upon advice of the ringside physician. According to unified rules, we then go to the scorecard since the fight went more than 4 rounds. And after 5 rounds of action, we have a split decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Chuck Jompa scores the bout 49-46 in favor of Wladimir Klitschko. Judge at ringside, Doug Tucker sees the bout 48-47 in favor of Davaryl Williamson. Judge at ringside, Jerry Roth scores the bout 49-46 in favor of the split technical decision winner, Wladimir Klitschko.
Well, some mixed reaction from the crowd here as, well, nobody's ever happy when a fight ends in this fashion. But then a split technical decision goes the way of Wladimir Klitschko, and you know, what can you say? There's really not much to celebrate right now. And I know you want to get some comments in, Al, but we'll get to that momentarily. Let's go to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you.